It was supposed to be an ordinary night for Chantel, CiCi, Brooks. On July 17, 2026, the 36-year-old Fairfield, California woman finished her overnight shift at the Lanane Hotel in San Francisco's Tenderloin district. At approximately 12:20 a.m., surveillance cameras captured her leaving work. She was dressed casually in a red zip-up sweatshirt, gray sweatpants, brown furry boots, and a multicolored brimmed hat. She got into her black 2021 Infiniti QX50, seemingly beginning the drive home. At that moment, there was nothing publicly known to suggest that this would be the last ordinary night of Chantel's life. More than an hour later, Chantel appeared on another surveillance camera, this time in Fairfield, around 1:45 a.m. Footage showed her leaving a CVS on East Travis Boulevard and walking toward her SUV. It is the last confirmed public sighting of Chantel Brooks. There would be no later message, no confirmed phone contact, and no verified appearance that investigators could point to and say, that is where she went next. Somewhere between that parking lot and whatever happened afterward, a normal journey home became a mystery that would stretch across the Bay Area. For Chantel's family, the silence was more frightening than any single clue. She was someone people expected to hear from, someone whose sudden disappearance could not simply be explained away as taking a break from social media or wanting some time alone. Her brothers and close friends began trying to understand when the communication had stopped and why. Friends later described Chantel as the kind of person who could lift the mood around her, and her longtime friend Erica Vaughn spoke publicly about the person she knew, a friend who could turn a bad day around and make people laugh. Then the search began to expand. Family members looked across Fairfield, San Francisco, and Oakland, putting up flyers and trying to reconstruct Chantel's movements. Her black Infiniti became an important part of that timeline because Chantel and the vehicle were both missing. Investigators later learned that the SUV had been captured by a flock license plate reader in an East Oakland neighborhood. It was another piece of information, but not an answer. Instead, it widened the map and with it, the number of questions. One of the most important things about this case is how little is actually known about those final moments. Investigators have confirmed the surveillance sightings, but they have not publicly explained exactly what happened after. Chantel walked toward her vehicle at the Fairfield CVS. There is no publicly confirmed account describing where she went next or who, if anyone, may have encountered her. That gap is what makes the timeline so haunting. Cameras recorded pieces of her journey, but the crucial moment between the last image and her disappearance remains missing. As days passed, concern turned into an organized investigation. Fairfield police eventually received a request for a welfare check, and the case developed into a major search, involving multiple agencies and areas of the Bay Area. Investigators examined surveillance footage, followed leads, and conducted searches on the ground and from the air. The family, meanwhile, kept searching in their own way, walking streets, distributing flyers, speaking with people, and refusing to let Chantel become just another unresolved name. Then came a development that changed the tone of the investigation. Fairfield police announced that, based on what detectives had learned, they believed Chantel's disappearance involved foul play. That statement did not identify a suspect, and authorities did not publicly reveal the specific evidence that led them to that conclusion. But after weeks of uncertainty, investigators were no longer describing the case simply as a missing person mystery. They were telling the public that something more serious may have happened. For Chantel's family, the announcement brought a painful mixture of fear and validation. They had been searching because they believed something was wrong, and now police were saying they shared that concern. But knowing investigators suspected foul play did not tell the family where Chantel was. It did not explain what happened after that CVS parking lot footage, and it did not answer the question that had become the center of everything. Where is Chantel Brooks? Investigators have worked across several counties because Chantel's final known movements crossed the Bay Area. Fairfield police have coordinated with other agencies and the Solano County District Attorney's Office. Authorities have conducted numerous search warrants, coordinated ground searches with state emergency resources, and carried out extensive drone searches from above. Multiple vehicles connected in some way to the investigation have also been located and towed for examination. Yet despite the scale of the investigation, police have said publicly that no confirmed suspect has been identified. That distinction matters. In cases like this, rumors can move faster than evidence, especially online. Police have acknowledged seeing social media posts that name someone as a possible suspect, but authorities have not confirmed those claims. For Chantel's family, speculation cannot replace evidence. What they need is something concrete: an eyewitness, surveillance footage, a verified location, or any information that can help investigators reconstruct what happened after that final confirmed sighting. By late August, the investigation had entered its 6th week. Fairfield police said employees had devoted more than 500 hours to the case, reviewing digital devices, examining surveillance, processing potential evidence, and continuing searches. The numbers show the scale of the effort, but they also reveal something heartbreaking. Hundreds of hours of work had still not produced the answer Chantel's family desperately wanted. Her family continued to keep her name visible. They searched in different cities, posted flyers, and organized community efforts. They also marked a birthday without Chantel there. Her brother Kevin Robinson described the experience as feeling like a major part of his heart was missing, while still emphasizing that the family had not given up hope. Their message has remained consistent. They want Chantel home, and they want anyone who knows something to come forward. There was also a candlelight vigil, a gathering that turned a missing person investigation into something deeply personal for the people who knew Chantel. Family and supporters gathered with yellow candles and balloons, creating a visible reminder that behind every police report is a person with people who love them. Chantel is not simply the woman in surveillance footage. She is a sister, a friend, and someone whose absence has changed the lives of the people around her. And that is perhaps the hardest part of a disappearance. Life continues around the empty space. Cars keep moving down the same streets. Businesses open in the morning. People walk into the same stores where cameras once captured a few seconds of Chantel's life. But for her family, those ordinary places have become pieces of a puzzle. Every camera could contain a clue. Every unfamiliar vehicle could matter. Every person who remembers seeing something unusual could potentially help close the gap in the timeline. At this point, the known timeline is remarkably short. Around 12:20 a.m. on July 17th, Chantel left her workplace in San Francisco. Around 1:45 a.m., she was captured, leaving the Fairfield CVS and walking toward her black Infiniti. Later information placed that vehicle in Oakland, but authorities have not publicly established what happened to Chantel there. Those few points are confirmed pieces of a much larger story that investigators are still trying to reconstruct. What happened in the space between those points remains uncertain. And because investigators have not released every detail, there are questions the public simply cannot answer yet. Was someone waiting for Did she encounter someone unexpectedly? Did the vehicle continue somewhere else? Which surveillance cameras may contain the next piece of the journey? These are investigative questions, not established facts, and until evidence answers them, they remain unanswered possibilities. What is known is that police believe Chantel's disappearance was not simply an unexplained absence. They have taken the case seriously enough to use extensive search resources and pursue evidence across multiple jurisdictions. But authorities have also been careful about what they have not said. There is still no officially identified suspect, and investigators have not publicly explained the exact evidence behind their foul play determination. For Chantel's loved ones, however, waiting is not passive. Her brothers and friends continue searching, continuing to speak her name, and asking the public to remember what matters most. Chantel was last confirmed seen in Fairfield in the early morning hours of July 17th. Her black Infiniti SUV is also still part of the investigation. Somewhere in the enormous amount of information surrounding those final hours may be the detail that finally explains what happened. Today, the disappearance of Chantel Brooks remains an active and unresolved investigation. More than a month after she vanished, police continue to ask for information, while her family continues to hope that someone knows something that has not yet been shared. The investigation has crossed county lines, involved hundreds of hours of police work, and generated searches both on the ground and from the air. Yet the most important piece is still missing: Chantel herself, and perhaps that is where this story should end. Not with a theory, not with an accusation, and not with an invented answer, but with a name: Chantel Brooks, a woman who left work after midnight, stopped at a Fairfield CVS, walked toward her vehicle, and then disappeared from the known record of her life. Until investigators discover what happened after that final confirmed sighting, the story remains unfinished. Her family is still searching, her friends are still waiting, and somewhere in the Bay Area, there may be one piece of information capable of changing everything.